Welcome back to another episode of Cable Chatter. I know it's been a little while since I've been up here and had the chance to get some information out and what's happening in Randolph County, but it's good to be back. Later on in the episode, I have Daniel Baker from the Randolph County United with us to tell us about what the RCU's been doing in Randolph County, a lot of neat things and a lot of what's going on, as well as some really interesting and exciting stuff that's happening out at the Winchester Speedway. But before we get into that, we have some community announcements. On Friday, June 16th, at Goodrich Park, the free summer concert series continues with Whoa Man, and that begins at 7 p.m. And then on Saturday, June 17th, the Fireman's Poker Run will be held at the Farmland American Legion. The ride begins at noon. Monday through Friday, June 19th through 23rd, Vacation Bible School starts at the Abundant Life Church. That's over in Winchester, and it begins at 5 p.m. Reach out to them if you need more details or want more information. On Saturday, June 24th, the 24th Annual Golf Scramble, benefiting the Pregnancy Decision Resource Center, and that's at the Winchester Golf Club, and that starts at 8:30 a.m. On Saturday, June 24th at Artisan Crossing in Union City, the free summer concert series continues with Claypool Block, and that starts at 7. Saturday and Sunday, June 24th through 25th, is Old Timers Weekend at the Winchester Speedway. That's out on Highway 32. There's so much going on that weekend: a swap meet, a car show, a cruise-in, all kinds of vintage things. If you're into cars and racing, I think it's going to be a great weekend. Looking ahead further, on Friday, June 30th, the Goodrich Park Summer Concert Series has Brother Believe Me, and that's at 7 p.m. We're walking right into July 4th, and there's a lot of things going around, so make sure you pay attention to Facebook and the different communities for fireworks and events that weekend there, but I know there's lots to do. Then on Saturday, July 15th, the Victory for Veterans Journey Home Benefit Ride will be at the Journey Home. Registration begins at 9 a.m. and the ride starts at noon. On Thursday, July 20th, the Rich Vogler Classic will be held at the Winchester Speedway. Like I said before, there's lots of interesting stuff going on at the Winchester Speedway, and so they've done some changes, done some updates, and they got a lot of neat stuff out there, and we're going to learn more about it later. But if that's stuff that you're interested in, or you just want to see the history, get out there to the Winchester Speedway. But like I said before, Daniel Baker with the RCU is going to be up next to tell us what's going on in Randolph County. Welcome back to another episode of Cable Chatter. I'm here with Daniel Baker. He's a Randolph County native, graduated from Randolph Southern in 2003. Left and went to the military, but he's back here and he's working with the Randolph County United. And he's going to tell us a little bit about himself and as well what Randolph County United is doing since the last time we talked and got an update. And so without further ado, Dan,
well, I appreciate you. I appreciate you having me on here, Blake. So yes, I am a Randolph County native. I grew up most part of my life in Lynn. I graduated Randolph Southern, like you said, in 2003. It's really weird to know that's 20 years ago. I got a 20-year reunion coming up, and it's really weird to be at that point in life.
Time flies.
Yeah, it goes by fast. After I graduated, I did join the Air Force, went on active duty for 9.5 years. And I was a C-17 loadmaster flying on a cargo plane. And if you don't know what that is, just Google it. It's a big cargo plane, and as a loadmaster, you control the back of it. You load anything from tanks, Humvees, helicopters, troops, everything, you name it. I've loaded it, and I had the fortunate opportunity to actually fly with it around the world. And what I tell people, the only place I really haven't been is Antarctica. Right, so it's a lot of places.
Yeah.
And so it was an adventure of a lifetime. And to be honest with you, I loved it, but I also love my family, so that's why I got out. So I met my wife in Hawaii. That's another touch point, is I got stationed in Hawaii. A young boy from Lynn, Indiana, being stationed in Hawaii. That's a culture shock. That's a culture shock. I did learn how to love sushi, so I know a lot of people around here are like, nope, I'm not going to do sushi. But I can tell you what sushi to eat, so it's good. but I did meet Katie there in Hawaii, and we now have 4 kids. So we kind of bounced around from Hawaii to Oklahoma to Utah to Texas. I've worked after the Air Force, I've worked for Hewlett Packard, TransCanada, or TC Energy now, Cornerstone Building Brands, some pretty large companies. And then COVID hit 2020, and we decided to do something crazy. It was already a crazy year, and we packed our family up in a 37-foot RV and a 16-foot trailer and headed this way. And I blame Katie for that, because it was her idea to move back to Indiana. Not that I don't love Indiana, I just never thought it was going to be possible.
Sure.
So, but yeah, that's a little bit about myself.
Well, that's awesome. And we're glad to have you back, because I know before you with RCU, you if I remember, you worked with the Journey Home. Is that correct?
Yes. So when Katie and I moved back, I knew Eldon Solomon, who is the current CEO. And I asked him, what can I do to help? Because obviously I'm a veteran. I want to help as many veterans as possible. I understand the struggle that it takes to get out of the military. I tell people, when you get out of the military, it's like, when you're in the military, it's you're riding a 3,000 mile an hour bullet train. And when you get out, it's all of a sudden that bullet train just stops. So all that baggage that you kind of get while you're in the military just keeps going and going and going, even though the train has stopped. So it just piles up, right? So it is hard to get out of the military, especially with a lot of our military folks that don't have networks when they went in. They don't have the right family lifestyle. They don't have all that. All their networks are inside the military. So when I got here, I just wanted to help veterans in the area, and as many as I can, to ensure that they have the ability to, one is not to be homeless, and the other one is to make sure that they're able to stay in their homes. Take my business background and ensure that I can share that with them, how to do interviews, how to do just basic computer stuff and things like that. So yes, I did. I was on the board for a little bit, and then noticed that they were struggling financially, and then kind of switched over to be the operations director, and we were able to do pretty amazing things after that. And the last year, they went from financial struggles to being able to raise, I think we're up at around $200,000 for the year, plus increasing the VA contract they had with the Veteran Affairs by about $1 million. So there's a lot of negotiation there. So, but yes, I am very passionate about helping veterans. So once I kind of helped them clean up some of their books and clean up some things that were going on there, and I can't take all the credit because the staff did amazing and they're still doing amazing things. But I'm grateful for the opportunity to be involved in helping ensure that that organization can stay and move forward. And then from there, last July, I did another crazy thing and told Eldon that it's time for him to basically lay me off.
I've done the work. I've done all I can do. It's time for me to move on.
It's time for me to move on. So we moved on, and all this time, my wife and I have been building an interior design firm called Always Home Custom Designs there in Winchester. And so, since we kind of arrived from Texas, which is where we came, our last stop, we got here and we're like, now what? And so we just started building an interior design firm that touches designers from across the country. Right, so we're a local small firm, but we don't just do local projects. We also do projects across the country, and she works with designers everywhere, do like 3D models, AutoCAD, things like that. So you can imagine that workload, it's a lot.
Sure,
right? It is a lot. But after I told Eldon to kind of, hey, it's time to move on, I was sitting in a Main Street board meeting there in Winchester, and Mr. Williams happened to say, hey, they're still looking for a director over there, and not directed at me. So I thought about it, and I was like, well, when they first announced that they were looking, I wanted to, but I was knee deep in the Journey Home stuff.
Sure.
But then I guess I put my resume in time, and it was a very good interview process, and it was. They selected me, and I'm having fun.
Good.
It's fun.
It seems like, yeah, I haven't worked with RCU a little bit before and things like that. It seems like you definitely kind of, I mean, it's a lot of work, but you get to kind of talk to a lot of people in Randolph County, kind of see everything that's going on, and kind of you're in the thick of it, good, bad, and different. And so, yeah, we're glad to have you. It seems like I know we talk a little bit about the technology piece of the county stuff. We'll get to some of that later. But so we've had some communication. It seems like you're having fun with it, which is great.
I am.
But I think one of the things we kind of talked about a little bit before we got started is the Cultivating Community grant, and this was a handful of years ago. There was lots of meetings at the 4-H fairgrounds, and there's been a lot of change that's come from that. And so, what's kind of still coming from that grant, or if you want to kind of give us some backstory, because if it's been a little while, so some folks might not remember what that is or what it did.
Yeah. So actually, what happened with that Cultivating Communities initiative, and I would say that this has been a partnership between us and the Community Foundation, and it's been a great partnership. And basically what came out of all of that data that Ball State kind of collected, and the information in those info sessions, if you will, that happened at the 4-H fairgrounds, they collected all that, and we as a community created 5 different committees, if you will. Those committees include housing. Housing is an issue in our county. Technology, as you just mentioned, quality of life items. And under the quality of life items, we're talking about trails, waterways, park signs, whatever this committee deems important for the quality of life of the individuals in Randolph County. Workforce education, which has stemmed our internship program and our Next Gen program that actually we've been kind of building, and Steve James actually is volunteered for next year to kind of lead that Next Gen program.
Great.
Which is really good for the county. And then our business retention and expansion. We kind of had technology and BR&E, business retention and expansion, before, and probably housing, but not at the level that we do now, because what we have now is, out of the Cultivating Community initiatives, we've had a lot of community members come from around the county. It's not just isolated in Winchester or Union City, it's from around the county, and they're part of these committees, and to really help us understand what the needs are in the committee or in the communities. One of the things that I do want to mention about the housing committee, what came out of that is what we call the Housing Resource Hub. And so the county has contracted with the Housing Resource Hub out of Fort Wayne to come do a 2-year study in Randolph County to see what types of housing we need in the communities, in Union City and Parker City and Winchester, Lynn, Modoc, Losantville, Ridgeville, Saratoga, Farmland, all of them, to kind of look and see what the different demographics of housing we need, whether it be apartment buildings, condos, townhomes, single home family dwellings, things like that. And so hopefully over the next couple months, you'll see some things come out of this Housing Resource Hub. And actually, we're going to have a housing symposium, and we're going to be inviting the community to come together to see what they have created from their marketing research for Randolph County. I've had preliminary review of the data, and it's good information. It's really good to know what this community really needs. And I was surprised that in total, on a yearly basis, we need an increase somehow of 1,000 homes.
Oh, wow.
Right?
That's a significant amount of homes.
Based off of some data, people coming in interested in Randolph County. And I think if we can focus on that, we can can't fully eliminate, but kind of eliminate kind of the downward decline of our population that we've seen over the last decade or longer. And
I know that I'm sure that itself was a big topic of the different committees and how that all came together. And we're seeing different housing initiatives pop up. I know Union City's got the Governor Gray Estates they're working on. I know Winchester's got some stuff, but it sounds like there's some interesting information that's going to come back from that. So
I would say, just to add that, having these meetings with these committee members, what stems out of it is are conversations that are outside of these committees, right? So when we're seeing these housing developments, when we're seeing new technologies, when we're seeing those, it doesn't necessarily mean that these committees are working on those, but the idea flow is happening, right? So it's the bubble effect, is when you start talking about the different needs, then people start working on those needs. And that was the overall initiative for the Cultivating Communities. Start talking about the needs of the community, right?
Yeah.
And then you'll start seeing pockets of people start working on those. You may not be directly working on it yourself as one of these committees, but other people will start, okay, well, there's a housing need. Let's go start making houses or rejuvenating those houses. There's technology need. Let's fill the gaps, right?
You start having the conversations, and then those conversations start to spread outside
Yep.
of the people in the middle of that.
Correct.
And then things start to happen. You get enough people in the right room and get information out there.
Correct.
With good
Yep.
information, things start happening.
Yep.
So that's fantastic. And so I know you had mentioned the next gen part or the internship, and I know here from the school we've been working with RCU and some of the internships, and in our kids, and I know a lot of the schools in Randolph County have been sending their kids to a lot of different businesses doing internships, which is, in the last 2 years that's new to what I'm used to, which is it's great.
Yeah, and so with the internship program, it's yes, we've been working with all 5 school districts, which is awesome in itself. To see everybody just come to the room and collaborating, but in addition, we have a lot of businesses in the community that are also coming to the table, and they're collaborating with the schools, and the schools are figuring out what the businesses need. And a lot of times, and when I talk to other community members or other counties or other economic development or chambers, whatever, they're amazed at how much we've been able to get everybody to the table, right? So I want to just do a shout out to all the schools, to all the businesses, and saying thank you for being able to do this for the students, because yes, it's not a perfect program, right? We're still learning, everybody's still learning how to get this to work in kind of a well-oiled machine, but what we are seeing from the students, they're now integrated in the local businesses, which later will hopefully lead to them staying or going to college and coming back, or trade schools coming back, or just staying in Randolph County, whatever that path is for them. Hopefully we can showcase that, hey, there are jobs here locally that you can do. You don't have to go to an Indianapolis or a Houston or wherever. We can do those locally.
Yeah, it's nice, having been in the school for a while and graduated from here. It's nice to see public education, Indiana kind of coming back around to the idea that not everybody has to go away to college. Not everybody's got to get this 4-year degree. That there are good, valuable jobs that are very important, that are right in your backyard. That you need training for. You need skills, and we're working on preparing those students for those jobs. And internships are key. They got to get out there and get their hands on and do the work. And so I think it's great. I know some of my students from computer science we got one going out to Frank Miller to help them out with, and then he's going to get helped out and learn a lot about their stuff out there. And so it's been really cool, just the whole program. And I just love where we're going. I think it's a really neat thing. And one thing, I've got a big arrow on my notepad. I don't know if I want to go too far away, but to bring up the Speedway. But was there more you wanted to mention about the?
Yeah, before we
before we veer off somewhere else, I looked totally by what you wanted to talk about first and jumped in.
Oh no,
so
you're fine.
You're
fine. Before we go there, I would like to mention that this summer, probably July, August timeframe, you're going to start seeing invitations for another Cultivating Communities. It's not going to be like we did last time, but what we're trying to do is bring everybody back to the table, right? One is to showcase what these committees and what the community has done over the last few years. And the second piece is to ensure that these needs are the same needs that we need to be focused on over the next few years.
Sure.
Right? So kind of bringing everybody back to the table. So if you are watching this, please be on the lookout for that invitation. We'll have mailers go out, newspapers, radio announcements, things like that. We have a meeting next week with Ball State and the Community Foundation and others to really put that planning in place. And that's huge for what these committees have been able to accomplish, right? And we need to bring them all back to the table. And one is, what we don't do best as Midwesterns is toot our own horn. We need to sit here and say, look at all this work that has been accomplished. Yes, we know more work needs to be accomplished, but let's take a second, take a pause, look at all the work that we're doing and say, holy crap, good job.
Yeah, it can definitely be easy to get lost in what you've got to do next and forget all the ground you've covered, all that you've accomplished.
Yep.
And it's important to back up and say, okay, have we checked any of these boxes off, and do we need to shift our efforts to something different? Is this still where we want to go? You want to make sure you're still going the right direction. So that's
absolutely, absolutely. All right, so we're going to transition to the Speedway.
Right. Yeah. So I was supposed to talk about So what's going on at the Speedway? I hear a lot of rumblings, and I don't want to jump into at what I've heard, but I know the sign's covered in black, and so what's going on out there?
All right. So yes, I know the Speedway has been kind of this elusive thing. People are like, "What is going on at the Speedway?" Unfortunately, we couldn't share it as it was coming together, but now we can, since it's all come to a head. So what has happened over the last, I think, a year and a half, kind of before my time, is Fox Sports they came in and they have done a documentary on the Winchester Speedway. And when I say Fox Sports, I mean these documentaries are Emmy, I don't know if they're Emmy, but they're award-winning documentaries, and the producers are award-winning producers. This documentary will be aired in front of what I'm told 1.2 to 1.5 million households in the country. And they have interviewed people all over the county who have ever had interaction with the Speedway or information on it. Now, the last 9 months, ever since day one, since I started, I was asked to kind of head up a special committee to help them finalize some documentary takes that they needed. One of the big ones, we wanted to show community involvement, right? We wanted to show that we support the racetrack. And the first thing that we came up with was, okay, well, it would be nice to have a new sign that showcased the history of the track, but also modernized it a little bit. So the new sign will have a digital billboard in it. The black sign you see now is not the sign that's going to come up. That is a fake sign that we had to put up because the new sign was kind of delayed. So let's just say it's a green screen, if you will, right, for the documentary. Sure. Because the documentary is going to air on June 15th on Fox Sports 1, FS1. I don't have the exact time on me. It's eluding my mind right now. But look for it on FS1. There'll be some promos going out over the next couple weeks. The Fox Sports team's really working hard right now, finalizing that documentary. But a part of the sign, we also worked on mural project, a large mural project. Original discussion was, let's take the old sign, put it on the back of the bleachers, let's create a mural on the back of it so that we can maintain the history of the old sign. However, when we took the white portion of the old sign down, it was too rusted to put up there, so we actually had to go with a different panel. However, we did keep the red portion of that sign. It's going to go on top of the mural project. So this entire project, we wanted to keep that history of the track and showcase that. We also looked at using a lot of photos for a timeline that is now in the concession stand area. If you have a chance to go over there, I would highly recommend it. To go to a race and see the changes that I've created. Jay Lee Osting is the one who actually helped us design the mural. Falcon Industries out of Winchester helped us do the timeline and the metal fabrication. Kristen Wagand helped us do with marketing. She actually led a lot of the projects. Scott Fisher, he's done a lot of the projects. Cheryl Prescott, Jackie Welch, like Scotty, my entire team, Lynette, myself, and Michelle, have been on this project. We've had county council members. We've had, Charlie Shaw, he owns the racetrack, Larry Bose. A lot of people have been involved in this, and if I missed a name, I'm sorry, but there's a lot of people who have been involved in this racetrack documentary. But the reason it was so hush-hush, and I'll share that, the reason it was so hush-hush because we had two takes that we needed to do. We needed to bring Joey Logano, who was the NASCAR champion last year, and Ryan Newman came in originally, and they actually did, they went down to the courthouse and did some filming there, and then they went out to the racetrack and did some filming. So unfortunately we couldn't have a large crowd while we were trying to do this filming, right? So we couldn't really announce it. And then the second take that happened last week, We did have, it was an invitation-only event because we can only have so many people actually there.
Sure.
So we had Tony Stewart, Joey Logano, and Ryan Newman. Charlie Shaw actually received a special recognition from the state. So Scott Alexander and J.D. Prescott came in and they recognized Charlie for his accomplishments and work in the motorsports industry. So there's a lot going on at the Speedway, and if you have an opportunity, not just for the airing on Thursday on January 15th, but if you are able to make it to Winchester, the Winchester Cinema will be doing an airing, a local premiere, if you will, at 7:30 for the community. And right now it's limited to 270 people. I think that's the limitation.
Sure.
So it has been a large effort, if you will, from Randolph County Tourism, Randolph County United, county council members, community members just as a whole, organizations. My wife helped out with some of the design aspects of it. And then we had some others that helped with painting. Bill Emmerich, I believe is his name. I'm sorry, Bill, if you're watching this. And so a lot of people have been putting their heart and soul into this project. And I think what has come out of it is more than just the billboard, more just the mural project, more than just the timeline. It's the collaboration that has occurred amongst everybody that I'm most proud of. Right, and so to be a part of that right when I took this job, right, and to kind of have come into a head next week, I think next week I'm going to take a little break, take a sigh of relief, and be like, okay, let's watch this thing.
Yeah, I don't blame you. And so you said, so the June 15th is when the airing is going to be? Is that
June 15th on Fox Sports 1, and then the premiere for the local premiere is going to be on June 16th.
June 16th.
It just happened to do with the timing of when everybody can come. The Fox Sports producers are going to come back out. Pam Miller and Bill Armour are going to come back out as well and come here for the premiere. So great individuals. I can tell you, if you have an opportunity to meet them, they're very down to earth, and they've done wonders in this community, and nobody knows it. So they don't even want me to give them a shout out, but I just did. So,
well, sometimes you got to give credit, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. I kind of heard little bits and pieces of rumblings that something was going on. We've talked about the Speedway a bunch for different things, but that's exciting news. That's going to be a neat thing. And so yeah, definitely if you get a chance to get a race or get out to a race and check this out, get out to Town Square Cinema and check out the documentary. How is it invitation only? Do people have to buy tickets online?
No. So the premiere at 7:30 is open to the public.
So just first in line, get there.
First in line. If there's too many, then we obviously have to turn away some. But yes, they're going to be airing it multiple times on FS1 as well throughout the year, probably 8 or 9 times. So one is, yes, if you want to see that documentary, that premiere, show up. But the biggest thing is, we're getting Randolph County. It's not just Winchester. Yes, it's the Winchester Speedway, but we're getting Randolph County in front of 1.5 million households next week.
Which is amazing.
Next week, right? Not including all the follow-up airings that they're going to be doing. So that's huge when you're talking about economic development, when you're talking about all these other things that we have going on, because people will see us as working together and united, no pun intended for the name of Randolph County United, but really united and working together on all these other projects. So my hope from all this is people will start asking questions, what is Randolph County doing? Right. What are we doing? And when they start seeing what we're doing, they'll get interested, right? So it's kind of a multifaceted approach for this.
Yeah, where it might just be, from the outside looking in, it might just be, oh yeah, they're working on a documentary. Well, there's a lot of other pieces.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of other things that brings a lot of attention, that brings, economic development just for the people are coming into the county to do things, to work and to show off what Randolph County is good at, working together and making things happen. And so that's fantastic. So if you get a chance, get out to race, check out the mural, the history, and the new sign when it shows up, and all the different things, or to Town Square Cinema and check that out. Dan, I feel like we've talked about a lot.
We have.
Is there anything else? Any other questions you wanted me to ask, or something you want to make sure people hear about before we kind of wrap this up?
Well, another thing that Randolph County Tourism is going to be leading up is the eclipse for next year.
Okay, yeah.
We're
right in the prime viewing band, if I remember right.
Oh, we are in the prime. I think we have. Now they're going to correct me when I get back to the office or whenever they see this. I think we have 4 minutes extra viewing time or something. It may be a lot less than that, but people travel to come to places where they have the longest viewing time, and we're one of 2 places in the country that are going to have the longest viewing time, is my understanding. Unfortunately for Union City, yes, you're going to have the longest viewing time, but the best viewing time for the longest is actually going to be over the Lasanville Modoc area, I'm told. But people will still be coming here.
Right.
Right. So, but I think it's like 2 or 3 seconds longer. Right. I'm not an astrologist or an expert or whatever you call them.
Well, neither am I.
I am being told these things, but I would highly look out for that. Another thing that I want to mention, and this is kind of more towards the small businesses in the area, and so I just want to talk to them for just a second, is that Jackie Welch is actually sitting here in Union City on Wednesday mornings, actually all day Wednesday now, normally until Wednesday at Hometown Coffee, and she's trying to get out to all the businesses. So if you have anything you need from Randolph County United, please stop by Hometown Coffee and meet with Jackie, or let her know whatever your needs are. Right, we're here for you, and we're here for the community, and that's what our focus is on, is making sure that we are here as much as possible. We have so much going on that sometimes it's hard for us to go out to every business, and it's easy to sit in one place and have people come, but we need to advertise that we're here.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, because Randolph County United's got there's a big scope, but one of the original pieces was the chamber, unified chamber for Randolph County, Chamber of Commerce. So it's local businesses is still a big piece of it.
The huge piece of it. I mean, I'll tell you, a lot of our committee members are from local businesses, right? And community members. Don't get me wrong, community members are involved, but a lot of them are local businesses who just want to get out and help, and it's amazing to see and watch. So, other than that, I think that's all I had, unless there's other questions. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to my office. If you want to sit down for lunch or anything like that, just let me know. I will try to put it on the schedule. I probably met like 1,500 to 2,000 people over the last 10 months, but that's okay.
A lot of names, right?
It's a lot of names.
A lot of names, a lot of lunches.
I'll remember conversations more than names, but I'm sorry. But it's okay. I have fun.
Exactly. How do people find out more about what's going on with the RCU, what's going on with you? Where do people need to go to find that information?
Yeah, so you can go to our Facebook page. We do a lot of stuff on the social media. So just Randolph County United, you'll find us on there. You can go to our website. We're in the middle of a revamp for our website, though. We'll get that out here hopefully in the next couple months. We also try to get in the newspaper anytime we have a ribbon cutting or anytime we have a major announcement, radio, things like this, we try to get out. So, but mainly our Facebook page. But we know that everybody's not on social media. We know everybody's not there. So just listen, whatever radio you listen to. If you're more apt to listen to 98.3 or whatever, let us know, right? We just want to be in front of the largest audience we can, not to boast about ourselves, but to showcase what the community has been doing, right? That's really why I like to get on these things.
Absolutely, because there's as I've said on the show many times, there's so much that's going on in Randolph County, and if you don't kind of look for it, it's easy to think, well, I need to drive here, I need to go an hour away. But there's just so many neat things going on in Randolph County all the time. You could fill every weekend without really thinking about it. There's just so many neat things and neat places. I mean, you said there's a committee for trails and waterways, and there's just a lot. There's a lot of things to do right here in your home community. You don't have to drive 45 minutes or an hour.
Absolutely.
To get to those things. So Dan, thanks so much for coming on Cable Chatter. It's been fun. I know we've had a lot of meetings, but it's been fun having this conversation, and good to work with you. So thanks so much.
I appreciate it, Blake.